Lions and tigers and bears, oh my!
This well-known quote from the movie The Wizard of Oz can be viewed as art, as part of a culture, as something creative, and heard via some type of technology. Technological innovations throughout the history of humankind have caused art and creativity to change culture. But what is art? Or creativity? Or culture, for that matter? Art. According to the Canadian Oxford Dictionary, art is the application of human creative skill that is concerned with the production of imaginative designs, sounds, ideas, etc. However, Robert Belton insists that any brief definition of art would oversimplify the matter, but we can say that all definitions offered over the centuries include some notion of human agency, whether through manual skills, as in the art of sailing or painting or photography, intellectual manipulation, as in the art of politics, or public or personal expression, as in the art of conversation. Recall that the word is etymologically related to artificial, in other words, produced by human beings. If art is the expression or application of human creative skill, then what is creativity? Well, also according to the Canadian Oxford Dictionary, creativity involves the skillful and imaginative use of something to produce a work of art. It seems as if art and creativity are interlinked. You cannot seem to have one without the other. Moreover, you cannot have either without some understanding of culture. So what is culture? Murphy and Potts discuss the fact that culture is a notoriously difficult word to define. It is possible to think of self-contained cultures, such as French culture or youth culture. On the other hand, the more general sense can become so wide as to embrace all human activity around the world, culture as opposed to nature. Indicating a further distinction of meaning, many newspapers carry sections called culture, bracketing off the area from news, politics, finance, or sport. This reflects the tendency to think of culture as pertaining to the arts or entertainment. However, culture is a dynamic, multiple thing.
Culture, a thing?
Yes, a thing, but multiple things.
So, can I create a culture?
I don't see why not. What kind of culture would you like to create? Are you a creative, imaginative person?
Yes, I am an artist.
To begin the discussion of the implications of technological innovations for particular forms of artistic and cultural practice, and of culture and creativity in general, it is important to understand how technology has evolved over time. The simple evolution of storytelling has quite the history. For example, J. Bolter explains that in about the 8th century BC, the Greeks began to refashion the space of oral mythology and heroic legend into the more precise and linear space of the papyrus roll. In ancient times, the shift from papyrus roll to codex refashioned the space again, making more effective the use of the two-dimensional surface to deploy text. In Western Europe, the shift from handwritten codex to printed book was another such refashioning, and the shift to electronic writing is yet another. Bolter calls each of these shifts a remediation, in the sense that a newer medium takes the place of an older one, borrowing and reorganizing the characteristics of writing in the older medium and reforming its cultural space. Bolter continues by noting that remediation is not limited to technologies of writing. Remediation is apparent in visual media, the World Wide Web, television, film, photography, and painting. It is clear that technologies are ever changing. Take these inventions, for example, and note when they were invented. The rate of technological innovation for those inventions is incredible, especially given the time in which they were invented. A historical milestone for our world was the Industrial Revolution, which initiated a cumulative self-sustaining advance in technology whose repercussions would be felt in all aspects of economic life. According to Landis, the advances that have occurred have provoked and promoted a large complex of economic, social, political, and cultural changes, which have reciprocally influenced the rate and course of technological development. The technological innovations that we have experienced throughout history have shaped the various cultures or understandings of culture that we know today. Imagine life without the invention of the printing press. Imagine life without the invention of automobiles. Imagine life without the invention of electricity. Electricity is one of those inventions which for me makes it impossible to imagine life at all. Much of our day-to-day life requires the basics of electricity. In my opinion, electricity has changed how humans can be creative and how humans can produce art. So, how have technological innovations changed artistic practice? The short answer, dramatically. Since all art employs technology, then technology has undoubtedly changed art as it has progressed over time. Take the camera obscura, for example. It was once used to facilitate the practice of painting, and has since evolved into what we know today as the digital camera. This invention has changed art by incorporating the use of photography. It has been said that history repeats itself. This is apparent even in the concept of painting. We have gone from canvas to paper, back to canvas. How many of you have had a company place one of your photographic images onto a canvas to elicit the idea that it was actually a painting? Now, what does this say about our culture? I believe that even though we indulge ourselves with the latest technologies, we are still creatures of habit who want to hold on to our history. Yes, technological innovations have changed culture and man's way of life. But through remediation, these changes of art, creativity, and culture have evolved in such a way that our history and our future can coexist in our present.